Digestible podcast. This is the Digestible podcast. An easy conversation to consume. You are listening to the Digestible podcast. Navajo is your host and is sometimes guest. Uncle Poe. Digestible podcast. Digestible podcast. Digestible podcast. This is the Digestible podcast.
Hey, this is Digestible Podcast. I'm your host, Navajo,
Hey, it's Uncle Poe.
the permanent sometimes guest, and today we have a great episode planned for y'all. We're going to talk about books.
Ooh. But first, a little behind the curtain. We got a new recording setup, and we're actually here. Look, you can
Yeah,
hear me
he just
smack 'em.
hit me in person. I just hit myself too. Yeah, so we're in person. This is our first in-person podcast.
Yeah, this is cool. We actually have the ability to record up to 4 people at a time now, and we can also have phone-in guests.
Yeah, we'll have...
Oh, I had an idea. I wanted to run this by you.
Okay.
I think we can make a number online and have people call in.
I was just about to say that, like with J. Jonah Jameson, like calling him and be like, "Carter, you're fired!" Like,
Yeah. But then we would like, what would we offer? What would we do, like advice? Because I don't think we're really good at advice.
If you have financial issues, contact Digestible Podcast.
No, I'm in a lot of debt.
I mean, I give you advice on how to play piano, but that's about it. It's not like real life experience.
I want to learn how to play piano, but I think I'm just not dedicated enough to sit down and play in it. But
You don't need to.
I don't think I ever had a piano to actually sit down and play like my own. So I think that's one of my things. Because I tried guitar, but I broke my left wrist, and keeping your hand like
Painful.
a claw, it cramps up, and then my fingers start cramping up.
See, that's the thing with piano is as long as you have access to one, it makes it easier. Because it's harder when all you have is like GarageBand or something. But it took me probably about like 3 years to get the hang of piano, and I never took a lesson, never sat down. I don't think I ever sat down for more than an hour and learned. Like, it was just over time, just...
Yeah, but you can play by ear, dude.
Well, yeah, but I didn't get that overnight. Like, I'm barely learning how to play by ear by now. I've been playing for like 8 years, and I'm barely learning that.
Yeah, but you could just sit down and hear a song and start playing it. Like that's a gift, dude. That's hard to do.
Yeah. Well, it's taken a long time. It could have happened a lot faster if I actually sat down, practiced, and like devoted time to learning it. But it was mostly just the panic of being thrown into live performances with that knowledge I had and having to learn it on the fly. Because that stress made it so real.
Oh, if you guys don't know, he was actually part of a school and would go traveling the country.
I was in a traveling band.
Yeah.
Literally a traveling band.
Yeah, technically,
And,
you could say that.
Yeah, and it was so much fun. One of the things we try to do is we try to incorporate, me and the other pianist, whenever someone was speaking and we were underscoring, we would try to incorporate as many Disney songs or movie songs as we could possibly do. I remember a few times during like altar call in churches, I'll probably, this probably isn't good for me to admit, but this is the past, so the blood covers it. You slip in a little Beauty and the Beast, a little bit of Interstellar in there while someone's preaching or speaking and no one notices. Because as long as it's in the same key, no one will notice. But the musicians did.
Speaking of Disney, dude, your dad put on The Lion King, the live action, but I never wanted to watch the movie because I'm a classic cartoon guy.
Okay.
I'm like, I said, no, I like the cartoon better. But they started playing some of the songs. Instantly started reminding me, I was singing along with them. I'm like, I knew all the songs. I'm like, dude, I've watched this movie like a billion times.
Yeah.
And as soon as the movie came on, I started being able to sing the lyrics. And I'm like, oh, I remember this. Like, Scar starts singing. I was like, oh, and the cartoons would be like green, fire, and everything. I'm like, oh, like that song I couldn't remember.
So
that's the only one.
Did you enjoy the live action one? No.
I not really.
Okay.
I love the cartoon because it has my boy Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
I don't know who that is. The only one I know from the original Lion King is James Earl Jones.
There you go.
James Earl Jones. Yeah.
His voice is actually in the live action too.
Yeah. And he gave the rights to his
yes,
voice.
I was
right?
about to say that. I think he gave the rights to his voice to AI so they can keep using it. And plus, he had a really cool voice. Like, I wish my voice had that kind of deep tone to it.
Oh yeah.
Remember me.
Oh gosh, now I'm trying to think how to do my Darth Vader impression. It would be an honor. Nope, can't do it. Can't do it.
Oh, dude. What was it? Watto?
Yeah, Watto.
Dude, yours was so good. I was laughing because I was showing someone, and I'm like, that sounds horrible. My Watto, I sound like a buckwheat wish Watto. That's like a Italian plumber that's painted blue.
Drunk Watto.
Yeah.
I don't even know who does his voice. But yeah, Watto and Boss Nass. Boss Nass is another one I like doing. Episode 1, Jar Jar's boss, the king.
Oh,
And
the
he's
big
like,
guy.
The Naboo think they so smart. They think their brain so big.
Dude, you sound like the king from Madagascar.
Dude, I haven't watched Madagascar in years. So I don't even know the king, King Julian?
King Julian. You sounded just like him right now, dude.
Oh yeah, he has almost like a Jamaican
You're almost there. Just a little high pitch and act a little crazy, and you would have.
and a little bit like nasally, like
No, you're almost there already.
I feel like just a little bit more nasal.
Yeah, you're almost there, dude. We have a guest I want to bring on, and with this setup, it would be awesome to talk to her. And she's all about music and Disney and composers, and she actually is a singer.
Yeah, she's a great singer.
Yeah, she actually has some music on Spotify.
She has music on Spotify?
Yes.
I didn't know that. I know she writes songs and she composes them, and she's a beautiful singer, beautiful voice. And I didn't know she had them on Spotify though.
Yeah, but that's just a little sneak peek for what's coming in the next month or so.
Yeah, she'll be on. It'll be fun. I got to do my homework watching the Disney movies.
I gotta do musicals.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I gotta watch the Greatest Showman.
La La Land.
La La Land. Yeah, I gotta watch that one.
That one the Spielberg just did. I was just talking to her about it. The one of like the two gangs in New York. It's like in the 60s. It's on Disney
East
Plus.
Side. No.
Yeah.
East Side Story.
Yeah, it's an older one that they made back in the day, but they just remade it with Spielberg like a few years back. Hamilton's another one that I have.
Hamilton. That's
Yeah.
the one. Yeah, that's the one that's been on my watch list for a minute.
So, but yeah, it's gonna be an interesting discussion.
It's a lot of musicals we're gonna have to watch.
A lot of musicals. I've only ever watched one. It's The Greatest Showman, and I loved it.
I haven't watched it.
It's good. I mean, some people it's very mixed. Some people are like, oh, it's corny, but as far as like the talent that went into it, it's like the people that did it were very talented. So it was a good movie. But anyhow, this episode we're talking about books, and more specifically, the Voynich Manuscript. So yeah, sit back and enjoy the show. It's the year 1912. An old Jesuit villa in Italy, Via Mondragone. Dust in the air, sunlight through cracked windows. Forgotten crates of manuscripts stacked like sleeping ghosts. A polished book dealer named Wilfred Voynich is browsing through neglected volumes when he finds something strange. It's not Latin, not Greek, nor Arabic. It's not anything anyone has ever seen before. A book written in a language that doesn't exist. This is the story of the Voynich Manuscript. The manuscript itself is thick, bound in vellum, real animal skin parchment. Expensive, not something you'd waste on nonsense. Radiocarbon dating would later place the vellum in the early 1400s, though the theories stretch even further back. And inside, hundreds of pages filled with looping, elegant script flowing like handwriting, but in an alphabet unknown to humanity. No corrections, no hesitations, just confident, consistent writing. And then there are the illustrations. Strange plants, not quite real, not quite imaginary, botanical drawings that look almost correct, but not enough to identify. Human figures bathing in green liquid through interconnected tubes like some medieval plumbing diagram of the human body. Zodiac wheels, astronomical charts, folded out pages, diagrams of stars and symbols. It looks scientific, and it looks intentional. And yet, no one can read a single word. But here is where it gets darker. We don't just have the book, we have its paper trail. At some point, before 1608, the manuscript made its way to the court of Holy Roman Emperor Rudolf II in Prague. Now, Rudolf II was not your average ruler. He collected alchemists, astrologers, occultists, mathematicians, and magicians. His court was a magnet for the strange and brilliant minds of Europe, and according to a 17th century letter discovered tucked inside the manuscript, Rudolf paid 600 ducats for it. That was a fortune, equivalent to tens of thousands of dollars today. So we have to ask ourselves why. Because he believed it was written by Roger Bacon, 13th century Franciscan friar, scholar, philosopher, a man rumored to dabble in forbidden knowledge, a man later legend claims could see into the future. Voynich himself believed Bacon wrote it, perhaps as a secret scientific diary, encoded to avoid persecution. But there's no proof, only theory layered on theory. After Rudolph's court, the manuscript passed through scholars, collectors, unknown hands. A man named Jacobus de Tepenec signed it. Later, it was sent to the Jesuit polymath Athanasius Kircher in Rome, a man famous for attempting to decode ancient languages. Kircher never solved it. No one did. And then it disappeared for centuries until 1912. Now here's the question that haunts everyone who touches this book. Is it real or is it a fraud? Some scholars insist it's authentic, too elaborate, too consistent, too expensive to be a hoax. The script follows rules. Patterns repeat with statistical structure similar to real language. The handwriting shows discipline. Others argue it could be the greatest intellectual con of the Renaissance, crafted to fool Emperor Rudolph into paying a king's ransom. Imagine that. A 16th century mastermind fabricates an indecipherable book, fills it with convincing diagrams, hints it was written by Roger Bacon, and walks away with 600 ducats richer. It is possible. But even skeptics admit something unsettling. The text behaves like language. It has structure, word frequency patterns, repeating clusters, statistical regularity. Gibberish doesn't usually do that. And that's what makes it so terrifying, because if it is a language, then it is a message trapped in silence for over 600 years. If you think about it, empires have risen and fallen, the printing press was invented, electricity harnessed, man walked on the moon, artificial intelligence was born, and still, this book remains unread. Some have claimed breakthroughs. In the 1920s, a scholar named William Newbold believed he cracked it, declaring it a microcoded masterpiece revealing advanced medieval science. His solution collapsed under scrutiny. Others followed, cryptologists, linguists, codebreakers from World War II, even professional intelligence analysis study it, including the National Security Association. Nothing definitive. The manuscript sits today in the Voynich Rare Book Library at Yale University, cataloged simply as Manuscript 408, a number, as if that makes it ordinary. But here's what I find most fascinating. Even if it's a forgery, even if it's meaningless, it changed history. It pulled together emperors, monks, alchemists, spies, scholars, and modern cryptographers into a centuries-long chase. It became a mirror for human obsession. Because the Voynich manuscript represents something deeper than a code, it represents the fear that knowledge can exist beyond our reach, that there are ideas written down, preserved perfectly waiting, and we are not yet ready to understand them. So what is it? A lost scientific treatise? An alchemical manual? A woman's medical text? An encoded language? A constructed script? A Renaissance scam or a brilliant joke? Or something else entirely? Maybe the true mystery isn't what the book says. Maybe the mystery is why we cannot let it go, why generation after generation feels compelled to decode it, why we stare at its pages and feel like it's staring back, silent, patient, and waiting. So the next time someone tells you all of the great mysteries of history have been solved, tell them about a book written in a language no one knows, sold to an emperor for a fortune, hidden for centuries, and still whispering from behind glass in a library vault, untranslated, unbroken, unread, and maybe, just maybe, still holding the secret. So that was the Voynich Manuscript.
I've heard about this book, and I've heard just like a couple years ago, this guy cracked it, and it actually is like a European language.
Really?
Yeah,
Tell me about that.
I don't really know too much on the. I see it was a documentary I found.
I think I know what you're talking about because I was researching it and I couldn't find any news that said it was decoded. But I think I know the guy you're referencing because a few years ago there was a documentary that come out, and the gentleman, his theory was that it was Hebrew, but just written in a jumbled scribe. So he's basically saying like it's a language that was written in with a weird script, and so he tried to use that to decipher it, but then he was debunked.
No, I think it was like Finnish or something like
Finnish?
yeah, Finnish or Norwegian, something
Yeah.
like one of those weird little countries that their language is super weird. Like he was explaining that, but
We just insulted the Finnish.
no, I meant like because we're American, we speak English, and
Right.
we should be speaking American, not English, to be honest.
Yatta.
Ahihi.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Oh yeah. Yeah, but so I doing the research on this, whether or not this individual is correct or not, one thing you can't deny, no one can agree on whether or not this thing is deciphered.
That's true. It could just be a guy who was bad at spelling, because well, a lot of these manuscripts, when they were written, they were copying other books.
Yeah.
So when they would write, they would have to copy the format of the book. They would do it like 1-to-1, because vellum was super expensive because they didn't have paper. Like unlike the Chinese, they had
Yeah. Papyrus.
yeah, papyrus, the Egyptians, all them, they
Yeah.
had a form of paper. Well, books cost a lot of money and you would have to invest in people. So there was like a lot of abbots and monasteries that would have monks that would just sit there and just write books.
Yeah.
And they would copy books because ink was expensive, parchment was expensive, bookbinding was a secret knowledge to do.
That just puts into perspective, like, because like now you're so saturated with information. I mean, you could get a book's worth of knowledge off a YouTube video. Like, you don't even have to like, and you have access to all these words that are digitally printed for you. Whereas back in the day, it's like to hold a physical book with written language was like you're holding like so many hours of effort and like one man's dedication or a whole team of people who are just dedicating all their time to recording specific events. And you think about it, it's like they're not just gonna write, "Oh, my donkey fell in a ditch today." Like, it's like, no, if you're gonna go through all that process, you're writing things down that are important. So like, how much more the significance of ancient books?
That's true, but also it's not true because they found a clay tablet that talked about this guy who got sold, and he left a bad review on a tablet. And yeah, and it's old, ancient, like
Yeah.
Sumerian or some kind of like
Yeah.
it's the little dash and slash lines
With the triangles?
Yeah, the little triangle.
Yeah, I think that's Sumerians.
Yeah, so they found that, and basically it
We're
was
linguists, guys. We're linguists.
it's a bad review written on stone about someone who did this guy wrong.
That's hilarious.
So they did write stuff
Yeah.
like that, but
But I
that
think
was
that's
more
the
of
exception.
but that was on a clay tablet, so
Yeah.
it's not technically vellum, which is super expensive.
Yeah. But I do get what you're saying, because also too, you do have like crazy stories. So we go into folklore. But then at that point it becomes like, okay, you're writing this thing that sounds almost meaningless. Like, you're gonna talk about weird wyverns or weird folklorish creatures, but it's like, if you're gonna do that, you have a good reason to.
So I have no basis and no backing or any kind of schooling to back this claim, but I kind of agree with that it is a hoax, but it's an old hoax to make money because people
Okay.
are always going to be the same and try to scam someone for money.
Yeah.
So I think they might have found old vellum, an old book, and they just wrote a language since it's similar to like
But that's like a very elaborate hoax, though. Because if you think about it, think about it this way: if you're gonna write a language to,
it's not really a hoax, it's a scam.
No, I know, but think of how much of a complicated scam this is, because I mean it's the same thing that kind of goes with the whole, did the writers of the Gospels fake it? Like, was it a scam? And you look at it, it's like, well, you can say that,
No,
but if you put it in perspective, like in a forensic case, it's like, well, who in their right mind would?
but it makes sense if you think about the way if it's formatted to look like language, because these guys would sit there and copy books, so they know how words are supposed to
No,
be.
but this king that got it or whatever, he's getting it from a nation he's not native to, so he wouldn't know the language. I wouldn't think so,
I know, but
considering like the travel and all that, and the way cultures weren't
okay,
intertwined.
yeah, but have you ever seen um the translation of bad Chinese character tattoos?
Yes,
Where
yes,
they said, "Oh, this is supposed to be honor," and it's like,
yeah. It's like a fish.
yeah, it's fish or like fried rice,
Yeah.
and it's basically like that. We don't know the language. It can look like language, and they even have a font that's in English that says Japanese people can't read this, and it's a font, and it
Yeah.
says in English, but it looks like the exact same characters as Japanese, and Japanese people can't read it because they're
Wow.
trying to read Japanese,
Yeah.
but it's English. It's in English, but it's in a
Yeah.
Japanese character font.
See, but too, at the same time, it's like that's like a modern day thing.
I know,
Like
but
that.
I'm saying you can have a style of writing that looks similar that means nothing. You can make up a language, but if you know
Yeah.
how language is supposed to be written down,
But
you can make
I
up
don't think,
gibberish.
because people are not educated like that back in the day, so I wouldn't
But
think that
no,
they
but
would be
people who
educated to make that assumption.
well, the people who actually wrote the manuscripts, like
Yeah.
who did that was their job is to make manuscripts. They were skilled in training how to ink because you don't get to erase your mistake on a
Right.
manuscript. That book, you don't get to tear out the paper
Right.
and try to do. There's no whiteout back then.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
ancient whiteout. So you would have to learn how to write in a certain format, and you would have to know how the characters, how tall they are, how many letters you're spacing, all that. So that's knowledge if you're originally doing like any kind of writing or drawing in a book.
I don't know. Like I'm definitely saying it's not possible, because it is. I mean, you have to account for the possibility. I just don't think it's probable. I
So
think there's better ways to make money back in ancient times than elaborately constructing a false language to fool like a very well-educated scribe who might be the one that's translating this for the king. And the fact that this survives history, I think, is more important too, because if it's, I just don't see the hoax as probable. I see that as a highly,
I think you just want to believe it's a mythical book. I think
well,
I
I do. Well, I want to believe that there's something more to it than just it being a hoax.
so if you're watching the YouTube video, you're actually going to be seeing all the pages scrolling by as we talk about this. So we're going to link an actual website you can go to, and then you can see if you're listening on the podcast. And on your free time, you can look through,
Yeah,
and you
it'll
can
be
see
the Internet Archives, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
you
dude,
know,
it's some of these things. It looks like someone who's seen a plant, but doesn't know how to draw.
I mean, for the time though, no one knew how to draw, so I would say those
No, I
drawings
meant
are
like
pretty
don't know
good.
how to draw that plant. Like
Oh.
they've seen it.
Well, yeah. Well, if you think about it, a lot of these plants are not even native to the continent that this manuscript originated from. So these will be plants from all over the world, and so that's what's the mystery behind it. It's like, well, how does he
Okay.
know that these plants look like this?
So on this on for the YouTube viewers and our podcast. So on 10V, if you look at that, look at
That looks like almost like a lavender and like a almost like they look like drooping pods.
but tell me, you could not recreate something like this. The hoax is just look when you look at the evidence of the drawing, it's not like it's
I don't know, but but yeah, like just a one-off thing maybe, but he has like the whole book full of them. Like, imagine how many times can you make a book full of illustrations that are completely different from one another?
But look at that plant, dude. On 13V.
It kind of looks like a chrysanthemum.
It's just half
It
circles.
looks like a water lily too, like a flower pot.
It's just half circles though. Look at that up there. It's just half circles, and look at the roots
No,
and all
I
that.
think you're doing it. You got to remember, this was written in like the 1500s.
Exactly.
Like, this is like
exactly. This is easy to forge.
no,
That's why it leans
it's
more
not.
towards.
I don't think so.
That's what
Because
I
if
think
you look how bad the illustrations of animals,
because that whole
like of elephants,
because that whole intro, it sounded all cool with the music and everything, and then like the nice ambience and stuff. It sounded like all mythical. But when you actually look at the pages that they're talking about,
I don't think so.
It doesn't hold up to medieval like art that you would think it was like a really
Yes, it does. I think it does. If anything, I think that's is not only in the style of medieval illustrations. I just think that for one person to come up with that original, much
I don't
original
think it's
content,
one person.
You don't think it's one person?
No one. A con, you never work by yourself. A good con is never one person. You need to find a target. You need
What
to
about
have
D.B.
some.
Cooper?
He didn't work alone. He did it.
Okay, I think that that's too much of a blanket statement. I don't think you can say that.
I think it is a con, and I think one person didn't just get paid
okay.
all that money.
Lay it out to me why you think it's a con.
If you look at the drawings don't look hard to reproduce, no matter what era you're in. It looks like someone who's seen a plant and is really bad at drawing. So
But you're assuming people that you're making the presupposition that people should know how to draw.
Yeah, a lot of people can draw.
No, that they should know how to draw. I don't think they can, especially medieval times. I mean, you see the evidence; they do not know how to draw.
No, especially if you're doing parchment. If you're doing this is expensive. This is not an easy hobby to get into. It's not like everyday farmers. This is schooling. This is like stuff you would have to get into.
It'll make it less probable that someone's just going to waste all of that to just draw a bunch of pictures that are fake.
It's for a scam. That's the whole purpose. It's for a scam.
See, but I'm saying that's not proper. Like, that's not compared to it being an actual manuscript with some sort of meaning, and that some
I don't
person
think it has any meaning because that's why it hasn't been able to be decrypted. And over all these years and all these different specialists and high-ranking people who are intelligent for like hundreds of years now who looked at it and still can't solve it, it's because it's gibberish. It's a con, and that guy got swindled.
I don't think so, because look at the Rosetta Stone.
How much money was that?
So your argument that it's a scam is because it hasn't been translated, like
because it can't be translated.
No, I don't think that's a viable argument because
and
you
then
look at so many
suck.
other languages in history. It's like, what if we all just like, oh, this is a scam because no one knows how to translate this language?
And then your argument is just because no one else knew how to draw.
No, my argument's not that. My argument is that I find it a lesser probability that this is a scam than it is that this is an actual manuscript with meaning.
How so?
I've laid it out to you.
No, you didn't. You tore down mine. Let's hear yours.
No, I think it's more probable that this thing has meaning in it. Number one, because I don't think in this time era, we don't see anything else like this in history. Okay?
That's not true.
Give me another example where you see an elaborate historical hoax that has
1400s manuscript.
No. A hoax that goes back to the 1400s.
We're talking about why you're proving it right.
No.
Don't talk about why it's not.
No, because my claim was that where else have you seen this in history, an elaborate hoax that lasts this long? And I'm saying I don't think you do. Out of all the recorded historical events that we have up until now that date back to the 1400s, we have the only one I can think of off the top of my head that people are saying it's a hoax is the Voynich Manuscript. And it's not even the majority that are saying that. That's a very vocal minority that are saying that. But most people, scholars who have studied it, have believed that there is something to it. And to me, I think it's more intellectually honest and just more probable from a complete logical sense of view to think that if scholars and linguists and all these individuals are willing to...
Same time period.
Okay, what is that?
This is called... Oh, that's just going to be hard for me. The Ellesmere Manuscript.
Okay.
1400s. Look at that detail. I can't read it. They're capable of making this kind of detail, dude. Look it.
Okay, well, but you tell me the details about it. Like, is this a book? Like,
that's a manuscript from the 1400s, same time period as that. Look at the gold they have on it. Look at the lines of writing, how it's neatly written, and look at the drawings, the proportions of everything.
Okay, but what's the hoax about it? Like, is it a fake language? What is it?
This is not a hoax. This is a real manuscript from that time period.
Okay.
And it's legible. It's the art's better. It's this is
So why are you showing me this? Like, what's the
this? They had the ability to do this. This is the level of art of making manuscripts. This is the level of
right. But you got to think about it. Not everyone's making this thing. Like, not every mom and dad is just sitting in their back room making.
I know,
manuscripts.
Joseph. That's what I'm saying. Not everyone's doing it. Especially if you don't know what you're doing, you're not going to waste money making manuscripts.
You have a population of, let's say, 1 million people, right? Now, out of the 1 million, only, let's say, 100 of them are capable.
You're not understanding what I'm saying. No. You're running an example. You're not.
No,
you're
I'm
not
trying to visualize it.
No. You're trying to average. I'm not talking average. I'm talking about
that's my whole
a scam.
argument. The average out of like statistically and probabilities, it is more probable that this thing is an actual thing rather than a hoax.
But they had the ability to make manuscripts.
I'm not saying they didn't.
I know, but I'm saying they have those capabilities of making manuscripts at that high level.
Yeah.
Why would this one be a actual real one? You've seen the drawing and you've seen the way it's writing. It slants down. They're not level across.
Okay.
This is someone who is not trained in making manuscripts.
How do you know? You don't know that.
You can see it.
No. How do you know how ancient manuscripts should be written?
Because there's an example right there where I just said it shows you how it's laid out.
You can't just say that that's not how it should be made.
How is it supposed to be made?
You don't know
exactly. You
how.
don't either.
No,
you don't know either.
But you claiming to know how I think is absurd.
You can't stand up there and say no, that's wrong because you can't say that.
Yeah, I
it's
can't
the same
say
argument
that.
back at you.
No, it's
not. My angle is exactly as probable as yours.
No, it's not. I think it's less probable.
That's your opinion.
Digestible podcast. We will be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Wow, things seem like they got a little too heated. Or did they? Remember to follow us. We're on Instagram. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Remember to leave likes, reviews, you guys. Help us out. Throw some comments down below. And remember to hang out to the end. And hear the little Easter eggs we have hidden throughout this video. And you never know. Someone already claimed the first gift. What gift? I don't know.
This is the Digestible podcast, and we are back.
When does that ever stop? When does that ever stop?
I literally know nothing about it. Like I tried to do research on it, and literally could find nothing that was interesting.
What about the book that was written by that monk who said he was possessed by the devil?
Yeah, so that is the Codex Gigas.
Yeah.
And it literally just means big book.
It means what?
Big book.
Big book?
That's literally what it means, yeah. Because it's 3 feet long, 9 inches thick, and about 170 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah. It was written, the cover of the book is made of wood with, I think, cow leather on it. And then the pages are...
Isn't it human skin?
No. That's a different one.
Oh.
That was that one guy that died in prison. This is donkey skin. It's like 160... They said they killed 160 donkeys or animals to get the skin to write this book. And so the story goes that this monk was going to get killed. And so he's in the monastery and they're about to execute this guy. And he goes, wait, spare my life and I'll create you a book holding all the knowledge of mankind. And so everyone looked around, was like, all right, good deal. We're going to come back in the morning. And if you don't have the book, then we're going to kill you. But you got the night. So they start giving him the materials to write the book. And around midnight, he realizes he's screwed. He's going to get killed in the morning. And apparently the devil shows up and he makes a deal with this man and says, I will give you the ability to write this book if you give me your soul. And so he made a pact with the devil and he sold his soul to Satan and somehow was given the ability to write the Codex Gigas in one night. And so when the guards returned to come kill the man, he presented them the book, and they released him. And ever since then, it gets the name the Devil's Bible because halfway through there's like this full page, a full 3-foot page, with a large depiction of Satan. But then on the other page, right next to it, is a painting picture of heaven and the city of Jerusalem. So it's like you have a contrast, you have light and dark. But yeah, so it's considered cursed. Everywhere it goes, bad things happen. It killed a person, nearly, I believe. It was
During the fall on him?
Yeah, it did, yeah. So there was a fire, and it ended up in Rome somehow, in a castle with a giant library, and the library caught fire. And so they're trying to save all the books they can, and somehow they grab this book and throw it out the window, and it lands and hits someone in the head.
Wow.
Yeah. So think of like 160 pounds falling off a window and hitting you in the skull.
Dang. That's like it's like throwing Jenny out the window and someone's landing on you like foot first.
She's not 160 pounds.
Holding Mookie and Bruce.
She's probably like 90.
Yeah,
like,
I know. She's
that'd be like
pounds.
throwing Jolene holding her luggage or something like that.
You know what? Yeah, you're right. I massively misjudged that amount of weight. Yeah, 160 pounds. Yeah.
So it hits him in the head, and apparently this thing ends up in, gosh, where was it? I can't remember the facts about it, but either way, I heard a conspiracy that the Catholics created all these myths throughout history of fires in libraries so that the Vatican could keep all the books.
You know what? I can believe that. Because they also talked to Hitler and they had him transfer all the gold and all these treasures and train cars, and then they just kept them. And that's why the archives, you had to like you had to be a cardinal, and you had to have like high clearance to go down there and look at stuff.
Oh no, I can't say that. I was gonna break up a certain item that they say they have in the Vatican. It's kind of gross. They say they have to have the foreskin of Jesus in the Vatican.
There's no way that would.
Exactly. It's like, what do you have? Like a donkey ear? It's just like petrified.
Isn't there in the Bible? Was it Sarah that throws foreskin at?
No, it was Moses' wife.
Oh.
Yeah, and he goes, "A bloody husband you are to me." It just throws them at his feet.
Oh, at his feet. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was David that had 200 bags of them. You know, this is something that we actually debated at the Bible school: was how much did you think it weighed, the bag of 200?
These were grown men, right?
These were grown men. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we're assuming it just has Philistines.
Because then that.
But if I'm correct, they were soldiers, so I would assume like fighting age and up. So like.
So you would probably have to go like grams. There's 54 grams in a pound. Probably about like 10 pounds at the most.
Yeah, and think about they're wet too.
Yeah, 10 pounds probably.
Yeah, that's really the number we came to, was like 10 pounds.
That's a gross thought to have, dude. That math right now I just did. I was holding a bottle cap and I was like, how do they know the number of them?
I mean, I'm assuming he killed the guy and then did the deed. Because I mean, that's just messed up. If you like just hogtie the dude and then do it and then leave him there, like.
Whoa.
I feel like David, the Philistines, he probably killed him first.
But that's such a messed up way to attack a person.
Yeah, I think that's why it was so messed up when you look at Judah and I think it was Levi or Simeon. Their sister gets raped and they go into the city, and the guy who raped her was like, "I want to marry her. Can we marry her?" And they're like, "No, because we're of Abraham. We have the covenant of circumcision. You ought to be circumcised before we can join you." So like, all right, so they gladly do it, and then while their whole household, right? Yeah. So the whole city. So he's like, we'll only do this if every male in the city does it. And they're like, all right, that's fine. So all the males in the city do it. And then while they're weak, bleeding out in the first day, Judah and Levi come back and kill everyone.
Ugh.
Just think of that, how much pain they had to be going through that 2 men could kill an entire city of warriors. So not only were Judah and like Simeon absolute beast of warriors, but like these men must have been very weak to not having been able to put up a fight.
Well, because you can't move your hips.
Yeah.
At all. So I don't know.
And most of them were probably laying down in bed and they just probably like shanked them or.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, that's made me feel queasy right now. Think about that.
It's a horrible way to die.
That's why they do it to
Yeah.
babies, because babies just sit there all day.
Hmm. Well, the thing too, which is crazy, is that baby's blood doesn't coagulate until the 8th day. If you circumcise them a day early, they'll bleed out and die. So like people don't know that, is that people look at the Bible and they're like, oh, it's horrific and all these things, but there's actual science behind it, because if God commanded them to be circumcised a day earlier, they would have bled out. But he circumcised them on that day, because by that day, in the infant human, their blood was able to coagulate and they were able to
No
not
way!
bleed
I
out.
never knew that.
Yeah.
That's
So-
cool.
Yeah, it's a cool science fact in there.
You know what? Also, is the new science fact is fasting
Yes.
actually repairs the damaged cells. Your body attacks damaged cells when you're fasting.
Oh, to get nutrients, because like you're not eating, so
Yeah,
like it
since you're not
goes out
eating,
and-
so it goes out and it finds damaged cells and it
Yeah.
feeds on those. So fasting is actually good for your health, and that's why God.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people now are doing intermediate fasting. Like they won't eat past a certain time.
It's hard, dude.
It is.
I've tried it, and I learned the dark art of counting calories, and now everything is like, you look at how many calories are in like a meal from Jack in the Box or like
It's insane.
Carl's Jr.
Like
That's-
1,000 plus.
Yeah, I was like, dude, I was eating Carl's Jr. for dinner, and then I would go and have like Raisin Canes for lunch, and then we'll get a breakfast sandwich in the morning.
Yeah.
No wonder I blew up, dude. I was
Yeah,
eating
Raisin Canes would
1,000
do it. Raisin Canes, I think a regular box combo is like around 12 to 1,500.
I know. I'm like thinking back on all the stuff I used to eat. It's like, how many calories was I eating daily, dude?
And you know, I actually know a guy who has been doing intermittent fasting for years now. He's very strict about it. I've never seen a commitment like him. Like, I don't think he eats past 6 o'clock. Like, the dude's an absolute beast. And he's in his 50s. We just turned 50.
Wow. Oh, there's a movie I just seen a clip of on TikTok.
Where are you going with this?
It has to do with that jacked up way of dying. So he's on an island. He's stranded with a coworker. And
Oh, is this the Sam Raimi movie that just came out?
yes.
Okay.
So she feeds him some octopus. He's eating, and then she doesn't eat. And he's looking at her, and he starts like sitting slump, and he's like, oh, he can't move. And she's like, oh, your leg's starting to feel numb, right? She's like, it was that purple ring octopus I gave you. And
oh
she's
my
like,
gosh. So he's dead.
yeah. So she's like, well, she's like, you're gonna be a terror to me, so I want to show you who's in charge. And she pulls out this big old knife, and he's looking at it. He can't move. He's paralyzed from the food. And she's like, well, I'm gonna do this, and you're gonna hate me for it, but it's just because to show you I'm in charge. And she starts removing his pants, and then he's crying. He's telling her no. He's trying to like fight back, and nothing.
Yeah.
But he can't move. And then she's like, I'm gonna have to do it. She's like, you're gonna be mad about it. She's holding the knife, and you could just see from over his shoulder, and you could see him trying to shake his head, like move any part of his body, and
Yeah.
it's just tears. And then she pulls down everything, and you hear the knife go, creak, and you see blood splatter. She's like, oh, it's a gusher.
Oh.
And he's just crying, like panicking, like crying. And then she lifts up the knife, and she's holding a mouse. She killed a mouse, and she said, I just wanted you to know that I have this, and next time it won't be a mouse.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is so messed
Wow.
up, dude. I felt like
Well, to be fair, he was an absolute jerk to her, right? Like he was like a maniacal menace.
I don't think so, dude. I think she's
Or you think she's the menace?
I think she's the crazy one in the movie.
Like he was just a jerk boss, and she was just
No,
like
she's the boss.
absolute. Oh.
Yeah, and he's like an aide or something. Like she's crazy.
Oh.
Because there's another part where she's like, don't ever go on that side of the island. It's covered in full of poison ivy. And he tries to escape. Turns out it's a mansion with food and water.
Yeah.
And
Send help. That's the name of it.
there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's the crazy one. She went in that house and got the knife. She's like, a knife wouldn't float in water. How do you think this washed up on shore? Like,
Yeah.
use your brain. She's like mocking him. It's like, dude, it looks psychological. I was like, that's
Yeah.
so messed up, dude. I was like, you reminded me of that scene. I was like, that's
Oh,
such a
man.
messed up way to kill somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's Dylan O'Brien, right?
Yes.
That's yeah.
Maze Runner, dude.
I like him. Maze Runners are fun. Have you read the books?
No, I haven't.
I've never read the books either.
I would probably get the audiobooks.
Oh yeah, I remember. I forgot. We spoiled it one episode. We had to bleep it out. because I was spoiling it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but the whole thing books. I showed you. I got that
Micro.
micro. Yeah, I'm in the middle of that.
How you liking it?
Not in the middle. I barely started. I have like maybe 30 pages in.
So I can't spoil it for you because I don't want to be that guy that spoils a book. But it is a fire book.
It's basically Honey, I Shrunk the Kids in the jungle with an evil corporation.
Jurassic Park meets Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
I was reading it today at lunch, and I was like, man, I couldn't put it down. I was like, I should stop. I'm like, one more page. And I was like, I'm right before they get to Hawaii. Like right now, their brother went to the college to promote him, and they got to look at the little plane.
Oh.
And they're like,
okay.
yeah, this is no way this is made. It has to be like, well, they didn't have 3D printing, but nowadays we're probably this has to be 3D printed.
So what events have happened yet that are like, oh, that sucks. Like that's crazy. Like has anyone died or has?
Oh, dude, the opening scene. That guy breaks into the facility and he starts getting little cuts.
Okay.
And I was like, ooh, and then he leaves and he's still getting cut open.
Yeah.
And then he goes back to the office where the guy hired him to break into that place. And then all three guys, spoiler, this is actually in the back of the book. This is how it opens.
Yeah.
All three guys get split open and get chopped up to pieces by these micro robots.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what happened to these guys?
Yeah.
And then the police come and like the windows are locked, the doors are locked. There's no way anyone could have left if someone did all this.
Yeah. It shows you how scary the idea of the Wasp is from the MCU if it was in an actual realistic Earth. Because in the MCU it's like, well, you have Iron Man, you have all these people, so it's like the Wasp is like, yeah, you could beat the Wasp. But if the Wasp existed in this world, that's what it would be like. Like, there's no way you can beat it. Like,
yeah. And that's crazy because they didn't have 3D printing at that time when he wrote this book.
No.
Yeah, nowadays you'd be like, oh yeah, it's 3D printed.
Michael Crichton is very impressive with his technical understanding of things. So he did like a lot of research, and he convinces you that he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
It's really good. And I wanted to ask you, has there ever been a book besides the Bible that has changed your life?
Yeah, Jurassic Park. That guy actually got me into reading. I was just telling you about it earlier today. Yeah, that's the book that got me into reading.
Tell me about it.
It's way better than the movie, and
yes, it is.
Also, the old man in the book is a jerk,
and he dies.
He gets
eaten by compies.
Yeah, it's crazy because in the movie he's a sweet old man. He has like rosy cheeks and he's laughing. He's like, "Come here, little one," taking the egg off the raptor. But in the book, he's a jerk.
Yeah. And Muldoon, he doesn't die in the book. He survives. He's the one that's a clever girl, and then he gets eaten in the movie.
Yeah.
He doesn't die in the book.
Yeah. I read that when I was 17. No, 16. I was 16 years old 16 or 17 when we lived in Ontario.
I think I was the same age when I read it.
Yeah. I was like, that book got me into reading, and I actually had to teach myself how to read again because I was really bad at reading and writing.
Yeah.
So I had to like learn. It was a struggle, but I was it was a time I was doing drugs, so I stood up for like a whole day reading that book.
Yeah.
So you could speculate what drug that is.
So for me, that book, it didn't inspire me to read. At that point, I was already an avid reader. It inspired me to write. Because at that point, I was consuming a lot of Michael Crichton. I had read Micro. I had read the Jurassic Park series. I had read Sphere. Yeah, but the book that actually, because I loved Michael Crichton. I loved his way he told a story. I liked the way he built up different characters. So I just love the style of writing. The book that changed my life was Sherlock Holmes. That book, I remember at the time, Jolene had bought a copy. And at this point, I don't think she ever read anything else other than Christian fiction. So for her, it was like, ooh, I got like my first non-Christian book. And so she was reading it, and she was like, oh, yeah, it's really good. But she didn't, it didn't really impact her. I was like, oh, well, let me read it. Because I'm like, I didn't realize that Sherlock Holmes was literally written in the 1800s and was like an old man book. And I always had this idea like, oh, that's boring stuff like Huck Finn and Tom Sawyer, all these things. Who wants to read that and Mark Twain? And when I read it, it completely changed my life with the way I view the world, the way I think about things. Because I didn't realize what Sherlock Holmes was, the way he would come into problems and things and assess situations. it taught me that you can think and that a person could actually be smart and not just book smart as far as like having knowledge and all these crazy degrees and all of that, but that a person could have an intellect that, how shall I say it? Just that. Yeah, just that. Just that a person could be intellectual. And that got me into mystery novels, which opened the door for Agatha Christie. And then it was just a pure joy right after that. I read almost so many Agatha Christie, Hercule Poirot books. I've read everything by Arthur Conan Doyle. And then I got into, what books were they? Was theology. I got into theology books. And then I digged into those for, that took up a good chunk of my time.
Yeah.
And then eventually I got back into fiction. But right now I'm in a reading slump, I will say.
I got into audiobooks. I moved past actual reading physical books and I started listening because I can multitask. Right now I'm still listening to you. I'm trying to find, there's a book right here. It's called The Case of the Damaged Detective. So it's a modern take on Sherlock Holmes.
Oh yes, I love those because he's public domain now.
Yes.
So anyone could just write a story on him.
Yes. So this guy, there's a drug cartel pumping in drugs, or basically Moriarty. He was putting in drugs into people and testing them out on the populace, trying to find a certain drug. And he's super smart because this is like unlocked.
Oh,
his
so this
brain.
is not even Sherlock Holmes.
He says he's Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, so
and
it's just a random guy.
No one knows who he is.
Wow.
And so he keeps saying he's Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
And that's his name. And so he's looking for his Watson. And he keeps saying that in the book. And there's another same Watson scenario, a guy who had battle damage and is mostly in his mind. And he becomes a former version of himself.
Yeah.
Like walking with a cane and stuff and doing security. And FBI agent, they want him to watch this guy because he's being monitored and people are trying to kill him because he survived it. They don't want this drug to be studied and figured out for a cure.
Yeah.
The FBI is trying to keep him alive because they want to know why he survived it. So he ends up finding out that guy's last name is Watson. And he's like, I found my Watson. Yeah. And so he the Sherlock and Watson. Yeah. And since they're just in a hideout, he's bored out his mind. So he makes an agency and he starts trying to solve mysteries. So basically it's Sherlock, but this guy is on drugs. He took drugs and he's constantly just bombarding information, and it's set in a modern time. It was pretty good.
Oh, modern time. Okay.
Yeah. So it's there's two books. It's called The Case of the Damaged Detective. It's the 5-minute Sherlock. And then the other one was The Case of the Haunted House. Oh, there's 3 actually. And The Case of the Felonious Fair.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so you get introduced to a Moriarty character, and it's pretty good because it's like from a broken Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, that's really cool because with Sherlock Holmes, actually, I ended up writing a few Sherlock Holmes short stories. I haven't read them in a few years. They're probably really bad. But I wrote one. It was Sherlock Holmes, if I can remember it, the plot. It was called The Haunt on Marshall Street. And it was basically, gosh, I think it was about a killer who would, when there was this house that a dead body would appear in it every few years and stuff. And it was a pattern or whatever. And people said it was haunted, so nobody lived there and all that. Sherlock comes on the scene because someone ends up dying again in modern time. I think it was like once every 100 years or something like that. Like it's a very old house, and so a body shows up, according like right in with the timeline, as to all these other past murders happened, and Sherlock comes on the scene. And he ends up cracking it, and I can't remember how. I can't remember why.
Did you have a big bad guy, a Moriarty?
No, it was written in the style of a short story. Because all of the Sherlock Holmes, because they're anthologies. So like the book, the Case Book of Sherlock Holmes, or the book The Return of Sherlock Holmes, or The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, it's a book with books in it. So like there's multiple short stories. So I wrote it in a short story once. It didn't have like an overarching like connection to anything else. It was kind of just like the way Conan Doyle did it. Like every year was the year 1848, and it just was forever 1848, and it like how many cases did Sherlock solve in 1848? Because like
Yeah.
almost every story is like, it was the year 1848, and Sherlock and I. It's like, dang. So it was kind of one of those. And then I wrote another one. It was the case of the
See, I always go Scooby Doo route, but every time I try to write a mystery,
yeah.
I always end up Scooby Dooing it.
I see. I never grew up on Scooby Doo or watched Scooby Doo, so I don't even really know what that means. Because I know you grew up on Scooby Doo, like the old school.
Scooby Doo is usually the first person they meet, and
Yeah.
it's always him being the bad guy. It's somehow it's always like the first person they meet,
Yeah.
and they're trying to act like the victims, but they're really trying to push
Yeah.
something their agenda.
So like they get to a murder scene, and the lady's like, "Help me, Mister! Like so and so died." It's like, "We'll help you, lady."
Well,
And then it's like,
it's cartoon kid show, but like there's a haunted place, and there's something in there. You guys can't go in there.
and
It's
it always turns
haunted.
out to be something practical, right?
Yeah, it's always on ropes or something,
Yeah.
and then they capture the bad guy, tie him up, and it's always so. That's how my story is always is like the first person you introduce is usually
Yeah.
the bad guy. So I somehow I always end up in that trope when I try to do a mystery.
Well,
I'm like my twist.
yeah.
I'm gonna have my own twist on it. It's like that's Scooby Doo.
Yeah. Well, what's crazy is that the queen of plot twists is Agatha Christie. I mean, you'll be with the character the whole book, and she'll have you convinced that it is not this character. Like all the evidence is pointing at other people, and you're like, wait a minute, this is suspicious. Like this person's too clean. No, I know what she's trying to do. She's trying to make me trust this character, and then they're gonna end up being the bad guy. Like, oh, it's this person. So you're like, oh, I'm onto her. And then she does like reverse psychology, where it's like she makes you think she's ignoring this character. She makes you think that she's making this character look too innocent, so that you'll think it's the bad guy when they actually are innocent.
It's like that game Chameleon,
yeah,
where you try they seem like they're so suspicious, but they're just being them.
Yeah.
And for some reason they're giving off suspicious energy. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, you're sus, dude. I don't know.
And it's crazy because she writes almost every one of the characters like that, to where it's like you don't know. You're like oh, I know what she's doing. Like she's making this person look like they're too innocent, and she's gonna make them the bad guy. But then she wants me to think that, so they're innocent. But everyone else is suspicious because you're like, huh? But like then it's suspicious that they're not suspicious. And so literally, I can't tell you one Agatha Christie book that I read where I knew who the bad guy was every single time. Because I would sit down like, wait a minute, before I would finish it. I'm like, okay, let me just sit down and think about this. Who's the bad guy here? Who did it? I could never get it right. Every time I was like, no way.
I think okay. There's short stories.
Yeah.
All right, pick one out for me, and I want to read it. I'm gonna try to guess the bad guy.
Okay.
I'm gonna write down and see if I can
Yeah.
do it. Because I've consumed so many mysteries. I've had so many different stories, so many different episodes of Scooby Doo,
Yeah.
and so many different versions of Sherlock. I watched all the Cumberbatch ones.
Okay. I'll give you one. I'll give you one. I can't remember if I guessed the bad guy in this one. And then there were none. You could take that copy home.
Okay.
And read it. I was thoroughly enthralled by it. I could not put it down. And I don't think I came. Yeah, I don't think I. Yeah. I did not guess who the bad guy was in this scene. I didn't know it was this individual.
See, now it makes me excited because then I'm like, ooh, there's a challenge in there.
Yeah. So let me know if you end up guessing who it is. Or if
I'm gonna
it
write it
is.
down. If when I come across, I'm gonna write down. I'm gonna have a little notepad. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have people that I think are suspicious, and then I'm gonna put this is
Yeah.
the one, and I'll put a timestamp on what
Yeah.
page I was on.
Okay. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
And then other books, I got that a lot of audiobooks. I've got into lit RPG novels, literature role play game novels.
How do those work?
Basically, it's a game system that someone goes into a world and they have inventory and skill points and stuff.
I thought it was like one of those books where it's like, if you want this ending, turn to this page. And
Oh
it's
no,
like,
that's
you
choose
do-
your own adventure.
Yeah.
Those books are cool, but I was an adult. There's no more cool stories to read as an adult, unfortunately.
Comic books, but then even comic books get repetitive. Everybody dies and they all get brought back, and then the universe is reshaped, and then everyone ends up dying again in another
You know who
final battle.
actually did a pretty good job on that? Markiplier. There's a YouTube series where Markiplier dies in the end. I think that's what it's called. And every episode ends, and you get a choice, A or B,
Yeah.
and you get to follow. You get to pick the next video, and it'll lead you to another video. And
Oh
then-
wow.
And so you can watch the video over like 100 times and pick different paths every time.
Yeah. Wow.
And some episodes, if you pick a path and he dies, then you have to start back over from the last episode.
Oh
Or
snap.
the last
Yeah, and there's only
video.
one path where he doesn't die.
I don't know.
Or just all of them.
I tried watching it. There's so many videos, so I'm like,
Yeah.
I just kept
And they're
going.
all like an hour long, huh?
No, they're like 15 minutes.
Oh, for 10 minutes? Okay.
Or maybe 5 to 15 minutes, around that range.
Oh, okay. They're shorter ones? Okay.
But yeah, it took them like a whole year solid filming.
Wow.
But I liked it. It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
I love Choose Your Own Adventures.
Those are like Telltale. Telltale Games was another one that's like that.
I didn't like Telltale games.
I like the animation. That's what I liked about them.
Yeah, I just didn't like
The
the
art
controls. Like because I played the Walking Dead one when it first came out. I didn't like the controls.
Mm.
They felt too stiff.
It came out on Xbox, right? It was an Xbox thing?
Yes. But and I also got the other book for Matt Whitman.
Yes, Matt Whitman. If you're listening to this, I love your bald head.
I was thinking like we should invite him onto the podcast, but to talk about his book.
Imagine that'd be crazy.
Because
you can find his email.
He's famous, but he's not too famous. You know, he's like, I'd be a big fish for us, but it's not like we're trying to go after a movie star.
Yeah,
you know,
it's not like we're getting like, oh, I don't want to sound mean, but
no, he knows who he is. He's a podcast, you know.
He's self-aware. He knows. We love you.
Yeah, I heard about the last podcast, and I heard that he had a book, so I'm like, let me look into it, and I was like, it's pretty cool. It's called The Lightning Fast Field Guide to the Bible, your compact companion for exploring the best book ever, and it's just basically to describe it, it's like
a survey.
A survey of the Bible, like a synopsis of every chapter. And it tells you the year it was written, a lot of the key words that are spoken, kind of like some of the main story points that are in the book, and even has some pictures that show you from the area. So I like it. It's I think it's going to add on to my Bible studying.
That sounds really cool. I like the way he breaks things down very simple. Like 10-minute Bible hour. It's just literally 10 minutes, like explain a concept to you very quickly. And that takes a lot of studying, because the only way you could smush something down that concise in that small time is if you know it very deeply.
Yeah.
So.
And I don't know exactly how to study like the way a lot of people do. What I normally do is I just read chapters.
Yeah, everyone has. I don't think there's a right or wrong way to study. I think it's subjective to every person.
Well, they have concordance. Like you showed me that giant, like extended version.
But like I don't even use that one. Like hardly ever.
I know, but I'm like, there's so many other like things you can jump into to go deeper, and I just don't know how to utilize some of these things.
Well, usually the way I always did it was I would just read, and then if I had a question, I would just try to figure out an answer.
I had a question. Maybe you might know.
Okay.
So in Mark.
Oh,
I think I already talked to you about this, right?
It doesn't ring a bell.
Okay. So when Jesus is getting taken away, when Judas Iscariot comes walking up, he kisses him, and then they all flee. There's one guy they talk about.
Yeah.
He gets wrestled, and his tunic gets pulled away.
Yeah.
And he runs away naked. Everything in the Bible has a purpose and a reason. What is it with this naked guy that runs away?
Well, actually, if you study the words behind it, scholars say that he actually wasn't naked. He had a linen tunic. That the word naked there doesn't actually mean unclothed. It just meant that he had his undergarment on. So like a thin silk.
I've also heard that they said it's a way to put that person in the story of themselves when they're given an account, that they would put something that no one else would know but only them, to show that they were there, and they believe it was Mark. That's what I've heard. That's what some scholars think. But I was just asking you.
Yeah.
What does that have to do with anything?
I don't know, because that's honestly, there's so many things like that in the Bible that it's like why is that there? Like why do I need to know that Peter cut off a guy's ear? Like why do I have to know the name of that man, Malchus? Like that lives rent free in my brain. A dude named Malchus got his ear chopped off in ancient Israel. Like, how does that benefit my life? So it's like, well, was for that, wouldn't it be like you can't do God's will in violence? Yeah, but
especially with Jesus around, you can't give grace through violence.
Well, and I think the greater story is that he heals him in front of Peter.
Yeah,
like he teaches him a lesson, which is something that you don't see, because you do get the lesson, not just there, everywhere else in the Bible, that violence is not, like he that lives by the sword shall die by the sword. Like So you have a lot of examples of that throughout Scripture, where what we talked about earlier about Judah and Simeon going and killing those people. Like Isaac was like, "You're cursed. Like shame on you for what you did. Like God's angry with you for doing this." So it's like, so we already know from so many stories. Okay, wrath is not the answer. Not anger's not.
So
But
what about this then?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think this is because Jesus heals the man in front of Peter.
No, about the naked guy. What about this?
Oh, about this? Yeah.
If you run away from God, you're uncovered.
We
You
could tie
run
it
a-
back to Adam and Eve.
Yeah, and you run away, you lose your covering that God put on you. And so when he fled from Jesus, when they all scattered away from him, he lost his covering.
Exactly one way to look at it.
We both
Yeah.
looked at each other and put our hands up like, eh?
Yeah.
I just realized we're
You'll be
doing
surprised
audio.
how many sermons are just built off that. Because I've heard one preacher say, he's a great preacher. He's like, God didn't say how this was to be interpreted, so I could preach it the way I want to. So I mean, hey, it doesn't say no, and it's in line with, because people are like, well, that's unbiblical. One pastor told me, and I appreciate his take on this. I was asking him a question about sort of like a situation like this in the Bible, that I was like, the Bible doesn't really say, is it okay to say this, or is this unbiblical? And he's like, well, he said unbiblical is the wrong term. He said, because the explanation you're giving is within biblical values. What you're saying is not something extra biblical. Like he's like, this is a concept that you're sharing that is taught in the Bible, so it's not unbiblical. He said it's extra biblical. That's the word. I'm sorry. So it is extra biblical. He said, but it's not unbiblical. And he said, and that's where a lot of preaching is. It's extra biblical. He said, but there's nothing wrong with it because it's not unbiblical. So you're not saying that this is absolute Bible fact, like this happened because the Bible doesn't say, but it's in line with the principles of the Bible and therefore is biblical. It's not unbiblical. Oh crap! I had to say that again because he was barking off.
It's fine.
That's
That's fine. This is the first time we're using the new setup, so
Yeah.
it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Plus all that background noise, they're gonna hear that too.
Oh yeah, they're gonna hear that. But it sounds like we're on location.
Yeah.
We're on location. We're not gonna tell you guys where. We're just on location.
Well, if
Did we
check,
tell where?
if you check the Instagram, you'll see.
Oh, did you post it? Oh,
No, I
see it.
didn't. I took pictures though.
Oh.
But I was gonna post it. But yeah, that makes sense. If so it's extra biblical but not unbiblical because
Yeah.
you're teaching within the Bible and
Right.
the
The precepts of the Lord.
the principles of it.
Yeah, like what I taught last Wednesday, that wasn't in the Bible. Like it wasn't like about Terah being the man that
Yeah,
like
Terah.
yeah, like that wasn't, that was just one verse. But it was biblical, even though the Bible didn't say Terah stopped because he lost his faith in God, or Terah left because God told him to. Like the Bible doesn't say that, but the message was in line with the Bible, and so it is biblical. But some people are like, well, it's unbiblical. It's like, no,
That reminds me of
biblical.
another pastor. So a long time ago, when we were in the other fellowship, Pastor Stacy Dillard. He was giving a.
I've heard of that name.
Yeah, he was funny. Funny guy. He would just every time he would preach, he would crack a joke, and it would just like have everyone rolling. And he was talking about Adam when he would talk with God, and God would come down and walk with them in the cool of the day.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know what that means. He's like, but I always thought that sounded nice. The cool of the day. He's like, I have no idea what. He's like, not in my notes. He's like, I have no idea what significance this has, but I always liked the way that sounds. In the cool of the day.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know what that means. He's like, take what you guys will with that. He's like, but let's get on to my sermon.
There's a lot of things in the Bible that I don't know what they mean. Like for instance, the story of David when they're going out to fight the Philistines and they come against David and he kicks their butt and they go away, but then they come back and David's like, should I go up to defeat them? And he's like, no. And he's like, God's like, no, this time you're gonna go wait in the mulberry forest, and then when you hear the wind blow on the top of the mulberry trees, then you go and beat them. And so like David, they all camp in the mulberry forest, and then they hear like a rustling of the leaves above them, and then they jump out and kill the Philistines. So it's like, like you read that, you're like, people will be like, oh, when the wind blows, that's when you move, and wow, and it's like, whoa, praise God. And you could preach it that way, but I always wonder, it's like, what does that story really mean? Like, I know
Also,
some people
too,
like
when
wait for the wind.
the
or-
men of Gideon, when they go and drink from the water, right?
Yes, that's another one. It's like if they got down,
And they lap like a dog.
yeah, then they couldn't. But then if like they knelt and like brought it to their mouth, they did. I've heard different interpretations. Like the people that were going down, I heard a very practical explanation was that the people that got down like a dog weren't chosen because they weren't being aware that they're a liability, because what soldier would be in a position that vulnerable to, if an enemy comes up, he can't defend himself because he's on his knees lapping like a dog. But the ones that were kneeling, bringing it to their mouths, are aware, able to see their surroundings, able to fight. So that's one explanation I've heard, as far as like it being not like some super deep spiritual, like just randomness, but that it was actual practical for warfare. I don't know, but that's another story that I'm not like, I don't know the true meaning of.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy deep stories in the Bible that it's hard to see what was meant for it to be.
Yeah, that's why I love stories, because it's like, and that's what I was trying to drive home Wednesday, was that like God chose the medium of stories to give us His law and His precepts. Like he could easily said, "This is my precept. Like I want you to like, let's just take the story of Noah. Like, what's Noah's story? Okay, he steps out in faith. He does something that seems absurd, that looks like there's no reason for him to be doing this. Like, he looks like an absolute idiot. God could have easily said, when I ask you to do something completely foolish in the sight of men, I want you to obey, and you'll have great faith, and I'll love you for it, and all these great things.
Like, wasn't it like 120 years?
Yeah, 120 years. So it's like, I want you to have faith for 120 years, even when it seems like God could have easily just said that, but He doesn't. He tells us the story of a man. He has a man live out the principle. And then He tells a story of that man. And I think that's it. He wants man to live out the principle.
Because you know how hard it is to wait like a week on something, and you're praying about it, and it's like just a week, and it feels like it's taking forever, and there's no answer. Imagine 120 years.
And think of it. He doesn't even know what rain is. The earth never rained before, so God's like, I'm gonna do something that you'd even know exists. Like everyone, you were talking about rain to these people.
You see that water in the ground? Fall from the sky.
Yeah, like Chicken Little, like the sky is falling. Like everybody thinks he's an idiot. So it's like, imagine being the idiot for 120 years. But it's like God says, no, I want to convey my principle to you through the story of a man who lives out that principle.
Well, also too, because he's building a boat, and it's probably in the middle of nowhere where there's no water.
Yeah.
So that's what makes it even more crazy, because they're like, you're building this big old boat. There's no water. How are you going to get that boat to the water?
Yeah. And you think about it, no matter what location it is, the miracle that two kinds of every creature on Earth could like come, like that's insane. Like I don't know how that happened. I don't know whether
because like Pastor Darren was saying, or Pastor Duke, they said they didn't go and collect those animals.
No, they came.
So
it's like God could have spawned them in, or maybe there was an actual natural birds migrate south for like the winter. Maybe it was like God just put like an intuitive migration.
And then people were saying that some animals are too big. They could have came as the babies.
Yeah, they could have. I've heard dinosaurs were on the Ark, but the thing is that people were like, well, if you look at now, you have all these thousands of species. There's no way He could have chosen two. It's like, well, no, He didn't need 2 Dalmatians and 2 German Shepherds or 2 Chihuahuas. He needed 2 of the canid species. And from that, you get all this variation. And in that sense, so when people come to me and they're like, I don't believe in evolution, and they tell me, do you believe in evolution? I usually tell them, yeah, I do. Just not in the sense you're thinking of. Because evolution is a very real thing, in that the evolution, origin of species, Charles Darwin, what he observed on the Galapagos is what we know as speciation. It's adaptive evolution. It's a species evolving new traits, new capabilities, and all of that. But what Darwin proposed was against what he had observed, because he proposed the idea of a kind changing to another kind. So that's a genus evolving into another genus, which would be like a cat evolving into a dog, which is like, you don't see any evidence of that. Now, the finch that he observed, it was still a finch. It just had a different beak, but it was still a finch. It was still the same genus. It speciated. It adapted different traits. And it's like, you see that with humans. People in Africa are darker than the melanin. People in Asia, different traits and all that. You adapt to your environment.
Yeah, like blue eyes. Blue eyes take in more sunlight for people who are in an area where there's a lot more cloud coverage. Yeah. So it's able to bring in more light than brown eyes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So like, there you go. There's an example. So it's like, speciation is something that's observed. And in that regard, I do believe in evolution, because you obviously see that species change over time. But what you don't see is what the mainstream media calls evolution, is like man coming from a monkey. It's like, no, that was a genus. You're trying to talk about a genus leaping to another genus, and there's no evidence of that.
Yeah.
And so in that regard, that evolution, no. But in regards to speciation and that evolution that was observed in the Galapagos, I do believe in it. And so when you take that point of view of evolution and you bring it to the Ark, it's like then it becomes he only needed very few animals because there's not that many genuses as far as canids, felines, different genuses of animals, right?
Yeah.
You don't need like 50 million species of cats. You
Well,
just
also
need like
too,
one feline.
Fish and stuff he didn't have to bring on
Yeah.
because they were just chilling.
Yeah, or like so that's what I'm saying is like people that like think like, oh, it was so absurd how many animals he had to take. It's like, no, it's not as absurd as you think. He actually there was plenty of room on that
And
ark.
also bugs. If you think about it, it's just 2 bugs.
Yeah.
It's not like they had to have a whole swarm of ants.
Oh, imagine all the spiders. Like, oh no, it'd just be one
Just
one
two.
spider. Yeah, just
Yeah.
be 2 spiders. Yeah.
Actually,
Just be 2 spiders.
yeah, it would probably just be one with eggs. You
Just
probably
one
don't even-
arachnid.
Yeah.
Do you think he even had to have a scorpion because it's an arachnid? No, because it's like insects, huh? Like he didn't need just one insect. Like there's different species
A
of insects.
pregnant one.
Yeah.
You don't need 2, a male and a female, if a female's pregnant.
Yeah, that's true. Because then it would just birth male and female.
Oh, but it said 2 of each kind went on.
Yeah, 2 of each kind. So yeah, like he didn't need like there's different species of arachnids. So yeah, he needed like 1 spider, 1 scorpion, 1. Those are the only arachnids I know. Are crabs considered arachnids?
Crustaceans.
Crustaceans. Okay.
Yeah, I think anything with the exoskeleton is a crustacean.
That's like wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, we got off on the deep end.
Yeah, but books, we filled that
But
little void.
books,
Yeah,
yeah.
we filled that little void that we were worried about, like how
Yeah.
we're gonna edit that part. So
With books, the Bible.
yeah,
Yeah.
so we went into all kinds of books, storytelling, mythos,
Books.
and evolution.
Evolution.
That was a really deep, crazy conversation to have.
Yeah. And listen, if you enjoyed the episode, go ahead and give us a follow, give us a like. We're on Instagrams, we're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube.
Yeah, and maybe some clips will be coming to TikTok soon.
Yeah, comment, engage, share.
Remember, listen to that secret word,
That secret word,
the password.
the password. We'll see you on the next one.
Digestible
Bye.
podcast with Navajo as your host. So take what you heard and pass on your own point of view. We want to say thank you for being the third chair, silently listening to us. That's not weird, we still think you're cool. This was produced by his Uncle Poe, the sometimes guest. This song didn't fade off because Uncle Poe left this as a secret for you. The secret word is cherry bubble gum. Cherry bubble gum. Shh, don't give away the word. But let them know you're heard this Easter egg in the comments below. And if you see them in the wild, they may have a gift if you know the secret word. This was the Digestible Podcast. Thank you for listening.